Well, good morning, viewers. Today it's a cold one, minus 40. Doesn't matter if it's Celsius or Fahrenheit, it's the same shit. With the wind chill, it's like minus 45. This 2018 Sequoia is here because the MIL comes on and off. Customer's been clearing the code. I understand it's a code for an oxygen sensor. We looked at it before. But his other concern is the blind spot monitor light is on, and the rear wiper and the rear defogger don't work. Rear defogger switch is where? Let me see here. That's defrost. There's the rear defogger. So it doesn't light up the indicator light. And the wiper, rear, doesn't work. Changed the wiper arm a couple of months ago because it was seized. It's got 170,000 kilometers on it. And we're going to scan it and see if there's any codes in it. So I apologize for my furnace running. Hopefully we can hear me over this furnace and compressor running in the shop today. As I said, it's minus 45 with the wind today. 170,000 kilometers. Let's do a network scan of all the controllers. I think he's been clearing the engine code with his little code reader, so the car starter will work. I don't think he has a car starter in this. I think he had one aftermarket one put in, and then there were some issues with it, so they took it out. ECM, PCM, internal engine off timer performance. That's interesting. Too low or too high battery voltage. Lost communication with instrument panel. Lost communication with instrument plus. Lost communication with body control module. Backdoor power window pulse sensor. I wonder if those are relevant codes. Are we done yet? Doesn't appear to be done yet, no. 18 controllers, 19 controllers. Pick up when we get to the end of this code scan. So we're at the end of the code scan. We got the ECM, PCM internal timer code, battery voltage code in the ABS, lost comm with instrument panel cluster in the BCM, lost comm with body control module in the backdoor module, backdoor power window pulse sensor in the backdoor power window module, room temperature sensor circuit, open and outer mirror indicator. Well, that's why it's blind spot problem. Open and outer mirror indicator, master. I would take that to be the driver's side. I wonder if this has got electrically folding mirrors, probably, but that open and outer mirror indicator slave, so both door mirrors are a problem. The wiring in the door mirrors probably, but it could be between the door and the pillar, I believe, unless that's networked from a driver's door module. Tire pressure sensors or tire pressure monitors are missing, or sensors are missing. It's got winter tires on it, I believe. Well, that doesn't explain ECU power source circuit. I would imagine all the monitors haven't run, catalyst monitor hasn't run in the past, so codes have been recently cleared, but that oxygen sensor code is not there now. Let's look at the HVAC system. Heating and air conditioning. See if we can see the status of that rear defogger switch. Let's check it for codes. Current codes. Nothing current. History codes. Room temperature sensor. B1411, B1419. That's like an in-car temp sensor, but that shouldn't affect the rear defogger. But who knows, maybe if it thinks it's hot inside the cab, it might not operate the rear defogger. You never know today with the way these things are programmed. I'm going to look around in the data list, see if I see anything interesting. So here's the room temperature sensor in degrees Fahrenheit, it's 77. And the room temperature sensor rear is 69. That's realistic, I got the heat on high. Ambient temperature sensor rear is 35, it's coming up. Number of trouble codes too. I wonder if I clear those codes, if that'll re-enable the that's all the data list. I don't see the status of the rear defogger switch. I wonder if there's more than one data list. Actuator test, system test. Let's have a look at actuator test and system test. Rear defogger relay on and off. So let's try that and see if that commands it on. Activates the rear defogger relay. Normally it would give us data related to the rear defogger relay. Let's see if we can see that in here. I don't see it. Well, usually if you have the ability to control it, you have the ability to monitor it, but it's loaded this data list, but I don't see the rear defogger relay status in the data list. But that doesn't mean it's not there. It could be that Snap-on didn't decode that. Let's turn it on and see if the indicator goes on the dash. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That's interesting. Command it off. I'm going to check with the thermal camera. So it appears that it's working. And again, I'm not sure. Kind of looks like it is. Yeah, it is working. Wonder if that heats the heated mirrors too. No. The glass on the back here is cold. But the glass grid lines are working except for the bottom 2 inches there, unless there's a break in there or something. So it's a computer input that's the problem. If it has the ability, I'm going to clear the code from it and see if that'll restore operation. So I'm going to try clearing the codes in the HVAC for the in-car temp sensors and see if that restores operation. I should have checked to see that they were gone, because sometimes they don't allow you to clear codes with it running. Still doesn't work. Well, I'm going to see if I can find some cases on it. So I looked and there is no missing grid line. So I've got the rear window defogger commanded on with the test light on this side of the grid. It's powered. So if I go in the middle of the line, it should be dim, as you can see. Second line is good. Third line is good. That one's very dim. There's a scratch or a break in the line here. See how bright it is right there? All the way up to the open. Well, one grid line is compromised. So I'm going to try another scanner on this thing. I noticed the rear hatch doesn't work either. I'm not sure why. So I did an all system code clear from 31 computers. It looks like it cleared all the codes. But I'm going to fire up the Think tool. Go to end diagnostics with this tool. And we're going to use the Think Tool Pro Plus here. So this should do a VIN decode. Honestly, I'm disappointed in Snap-on not adopting a topology map concept or keyword search for data parameters. Pin North America. Now I did clear all the codes with the Snap-on scan tool. Radar, cruise control, others, I'm not sure. Well, worst case scenario, it gives me a fault code. My cat is here to do a cat scan. I don't know if you heard him meow over the noises in the shop here. So let's do a smart scan again. I'll pick up when we get to the end of this topology map scan. So, only one code in this BDPW. Backdoor power window pulse sensor. I don't even know what that is. Probably for express down on the back door. But no codes in the blind spot monitor system. Now they had some connectors unplugged, I'm sure, to put the car starter in, because he said that they put a aftermarket car starter in, I guess because the remotes don't work. No, I didn't want to go in there right now. I wanted to go into the HVAC. AC. Okay. Read data stream. Let's try a keyword search for defog. spell it right, it might help. Foot defrost, auto blow up. No. How about switch? No. No keyword. Let's look at the entire data list. Select all. Okay. I'm going to look around in here. So the status of the rear defogger relay is not shown in the AC. Now maybe it's not directly controlled by the AC controls. Same as the snap-on by the looks of it. I don't see the status of the rear defogger switch either. Actuation test. Defogger relay, de-icer relay, front. Blind spot codes did not really come back yet. I'm going to see if the blind spot monitor light is on. So the blind spot monitor light is on the dash. Read fault codes. No DTCs. Read data stream. That's blind spot monitor master. Blind spot monitor slave. Read fault codes. No DTCs. So the only code that's appearing in here is the backdoor power window pulse sensor. Is that the tailgate? Because the tailgate doesn't open and close electrically either. So what do we know? We know that there was a code in history for the blind spot monitor sensor indicator, a C1AB5, and there were two codes for B1411 and B1419 in the BCM for the in-car temp sensors, but they're not currently out of range. So the rear defogger works if I command it on. There is one failed grid line, number 3 from the bottom. Time to do some searching. So I'm on my Denafix, typed in a keyword search for rear defroster, no case histories on it. No TSBs on, well, they're TSB, but it has to do with pre-delivery service check. Component location, description and operation. Here's the test, rear defroster does not operate, 2016-17. This is an 18, I believe. Does not operate, 18 or newer Sequoia. Well, it kind of does if we command it on. Let's see what this troublemaker chart suggests. When the rear defroster switch in the integration control on panel is turned on, the air conditioning amplifier checks that the back door window is in the fully closed position, turns on the defogger relay, and then activates. Okay, so remember that fault code in the back door window for the pulse sensor. I'll bet you that's disabling the rear defroster because initialize the back door power window regulator motor. See info. Check if rear window defogger function operates. No good. Check LIN communication. DTC's power window control. No LIN communication. CAN communication codes. No CAN. Check. Enter the body control, electrical, air conditioning, active test defogger relay. On off. Yes, it operates. Check air conditioning system, LIN communication. Check outlet temperature changes. Temporarily replace the integration control panel. Oh yeah, sure. Just temporarily install a known good part. As soon as I see that kind of crap in a troubleshooting chart, it's kind of like even the manufacturer's throwing parts at it. Temporarily replace the integration control panel with a newer, normally functioning one. Sure, just happen to have a spare one. Let me go pick it up. Okay, I think we're going to explore the B2221 code. So I did a keyword search for the B2221, and there's a case on here that says back window and wiper are inoperative. Well, then they're related. There's a code, yes, if it doesn't think the back glass is closed or the back window is closed or the hatch is closed, it'll disable the wipers. The code could indicate there is a problem with the jam protection pulse sensor. Let's see this case. Back window and wiper are inoperative. And probably the back rear defogger is inoperative, but most of their vehicles aren't built with rear defoggers. It's only in Northern Ontario and cold climates where they have rear defoggers. Check for a waveform on the back door ECU connector V2 pin 13 while the back door window motor is operated up or down. If there is no waveform, there could be a problem with the back door window motor. Replace back door window motor. Well, let's see what the factory troubleshooting charts suggest. (16 to 19 Sequoia, 15 to 19 pulse circuit or on back door. Monitors the condition of the power window motor and detects the position of the door glass by using pulse signals output from the 2 pulse sensors in the power window motor. Really? If the pulse sensor in the back door power window regulator motor malfunctions, DTC 2221 is output. The power window functions will be restricted. The auto up down function is disabled. They must use this technology in the side windows as well. Manual up down function via the back door power window switch can be performed with the ignition switch on. The manual up down function by the back door lock cylinder can be performed with the ignition on. Back door power window regulator motor. So there's 2 Hall effect sensors in it. Initialize it. See page. Initialize power window control system power window regulator motor for driver and passenger side doors. This is a rear door. When the power window regulator motor is replaced, the power window control system must be initialized. Functions such as auto up, down, jam protection, and key off do not operate if the initialization is not performed. When the battery is replaced, it is not necessary to initialize the power window regulator motor. Well, that's a good thing. But this is not the power window, it's the power tailgate. Do not perform any other after door glass or door glass run has been replaced. The jam protection functions may operate unexpectedly when the auto up function is used due to detection of the different operation learned value of the door glass movement speed. Open the power, fully pushing down the power window switch. Close it. Yeah, this is for side windows. I'm going to look around and see if I can find out how to initialize that. So this whole problem is related to this fact that this back door power window is not closed, as you can see. And the motor has failed, or the actuator has failed. I didn't realize that this glass went up and down. Man, what a make work project. Moving wires. So the rear hatch won't open because it thinks the window is partially open. The wiper won't work because it knows the window is partially open, because it wouldn't want to wipe it on an open window. And the rear defogger won't work because the window is open. All three things related, who would figure? The general consensus is replacement of the back door glass power window motor is the repair. So here is the switch for the back door window glass. So we're going to initialize it by rolling the window down, and it is rolling down. Hold it till it gets to the bottom and hold it for a second, and then roll it up. It's pretty slow. And let's see if the rear defogger works now. Yes, it does. See if the rear wiper works now. Wash the window. So the glass needed to be reinitialized. And I would imagine blind spot monitor light is still on. Even if I turn the blind spot monitor system off, where is that button? I think, no, that's traction control. Too many buttons, too many features. And part of the problem is I don't even know half these controls exist. So I got to learn how the system is designed and learn how it works before I can figure out why it doesn't work. Let's see if that code went to history now. So let's clear the DTCs. Thought I cleared it. Not clearing. Clear fault memory. Read fault codes. No active DTCs. Now, according to the diagnostic flowchart, that does not require reprogramming, but the window is very slow going up, so I think that motor is weak. And they may have thought it was closed, but it wasn't. But anything could have happened. I know there was accessories installed in this thing. So that doesn't explain why the blind spot monitor is setting a code, or why the blind spot monitor light is on. Read fault code. No DTCs. Let's try clearing it one more time. Even though there were no codes. I'm going to do another smart scan. So the lift gate still doesn't open electrically. It releases, but it doesn't open. I don't know if there's an override switch for this or not. Here's the switch to close it. Oh, now it's working. Maybe that needed to be reinitialized now. Now I would think that you could open it with it running. It doesn't open electrically. But it closes electrically. That seems kind of counterproductive. Let's try from the switch on the dash. I take it that that is the rear release. Oh, it opened. So why doesn't it open from the handle? Let's see if it'll close from here. Yes, it's closing. Maybe I need to hold that button longer. No. Well, I'm going to talk to the customer. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's working from this switch. But it doesn't work from the pad switch. The pad switch releases the lock motor. But even if I hold the button, where is that button? It doesn't want to come up. But that still doesn't explain why the blind spot monitor light is on. So this vehicle had in the master blind spot module a C1AB4 open and outer mirror indicator master, and in the blind spot monitor slave a C1AB5 open and outer mirror indicator slave. They're both history. Now I cleared the codes and there's no codes coming up, but I see in the blind spot master the abnormal history. The function is used to display and clear the abnormal history of the blind spot master. Refer to the repair manual when you use this function. Confirm the following conditions: ignition on, blind spot monitor main switch is on. I can't even find the damn main switch. History of module blockage. History of low voltage, yes. So do I have to clear this? Let's try it. Okay. Let's go back. Let's try that in the blind spot monitor slave. This was under special functions. Abnormal history. Okay. History of module blockage. Yes. History of low voltage. Yes. Let's try clearing this now. Exit out. Let's try reading the fault codes in the blind spot monitor master. Oh, that's the monitor slave. Okay. Read fault code. No DTCs. And the master. Read fault code. No DTCs. So let's see if that light's still on. So the BSM light is still on. Now I'm looking for the activation or the master switch. Parking aids, traction control. This is traction control, I believe. It lit up the first time. I looked in special functions. Like I said, half the time we waste our time looking at how things work in the vehicle normally. Tow haul, ride control, sport, comfort control, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, USB auxiliary, seat heaters. Well, I guess I'm looking in the owner's manual. So I found it in the owner's manual on page 279, and it used the steering wheel controls to get in there, but it doesn't give me the option to enable or disable it. You can change the brightness of the blind spot monitor lights. That's dim, that's bright. And you can change the volume of the RCTA, or rear cross traffic alert, when you're backing up. Dim. And then maintenance reset. And that's it. There's no other option. Not turning it on and off. So let's get back out of here. It's in vehicle settings, and use these buttons. So we have the BSM light on and the rear cross traffic alert light on, yet I have no codes. I had a history code for both blind spot indicators. Maybe now that I've activated them, the codes are back. Let's check. So there's no codes in any controller. I've rescanned it again. Everything is green, clean and green. We only have two modules that didn't respond, which is that accessory gateway and remote engine starter. I guess that's an optional accessory. So I don't know what to do with this indicator light. I'm going to read the owner's manual again, see if there's any hint as to when those lights should be on or shouldn't be on. So I think those lights being on, and they're green lights, so I think that's normal to indicate the system is functioning normal, because there's also one on for the daytime running lights now with the vehicle running. If I manually turn the headlights off, that goes off. And it says if there is a malfunction in the blind spot monitor or rear cross traffic alert system, the system malfunction is detected due to any of the following. Refer to page 459. And that would indicate one of these displays: blind spot monitor malfunction, rear cross traffic alert malfunction. I was thinking it was like the Tacoma I worked on, where it had an override switch where you could turn off the blind spot monitoring system and get rid of the message, but this one doesn't appear to be able to turn it completely off. You can change the intensity and the audible intensity of the signal from the sound. So I think we've resolved everything. We're going to change that oxygen sensor and give this one back to the customer. So the last time it was in here and the time before, it had a P013A for oxygen sensor, slow response, rich to lean, bank 1, sensor 2. So that's the one after the cat on bank 1. I believe that's on the driver's side, but I'm going to make sure. I did a keyword search for firing order on Identifix, and we're going to look at cylinder layout. I think it's the same as the Chevy. Firing order. Bank 1 is the driver's side, front of vehicle. So bank 1, sensor 2 is the second sensor on the driver's side of the vehicle. Bank 1, sensor 2, and that's the one I bought. So we're going to put that in. I think I did a visual inspection of it before. So bank 1, sensor 1 is on the left bank, and it's in front of the cat. That's it there. Bank 1, sensor 2 is this one here. And the connector is right there handy. That's convenient for a change. Now what can go wrong? It may not come out. Let's try. So I'm using an NTK 24848 sensor. If it was a forward oxygen sensor, I would put OE, but this one's catalyst monitoring is not as critical in my opinion. So there's the O2 sensor socket I used. It's a Blue Point one or a Snap-on one. And the new sensor
is installed. Now the new sensor has about twice as long a harness as it needs, probably because it fits both sides. So I just looped the harness and tie wrapped it up there so that it won't fall down on the front drive shaft. We've already cleared the code, so this thing is good to go. Just doing a look around underneath here for anything obvious. Don't see anything obvious. Man, this thing is extremely complicated. Air ride suspension. That'll never be a problem. Oh my God. I can't imagine what it costs to fix that. If you're going to keep these things 3 or 4 years and then trade them in, then I would say buy one. But if you're going to keep it 10 years, it's going to start costing money.